Our top 10 arcade games up next on Geek Out SA. Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream. And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun. We're back again.
We're here almost every Friday.
Almost.
Very rarely do we
Very
take a
rarely
break.
do we take a break.
We take a break, like, in the Thanksgiving, Christmas time we always have.
Well, we took a break a couple of weeks ago.
And we did take a break a couple of weeks ago, but we gave everybody a show. We pre-recorded a show for
we
them,
did do that.
So, we're here. Watch us.
Yes.
We're cool. Okay.
So today we're going to talk about arcade games. So back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, I grew up on arcade games.
Back in the 80s, because we're old.
Mostly the 80s.
Back in the 70s.
Back in the 70s. I was born in 1973. So, yeah. By the time I was about 10, which is when I was really starting to play, they had really cheesy little arcades in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
There was a mall. We lived in, I guess, like a lower socioeconomic side of town on this road called Marbach. And they had a mall over there. And they had a really awesome arcade there at the mall. And you would go to the arcade. But even in the 90s, they still had arcades. I don't know if people are from here, if they remember Pear Apple.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a Dave & Buster's-esque type thing.
I really liked it until they broke into my truck there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
So welcome Black and Silver Diamond. He says
Hey.
hi. Looks like this is more my territory.
Arcade.
So yeah, arcade games. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So I had a hard time. Well, I thought I was going to have a hard time.
Okay.
Thinking about this topic because I thought, arcade games.
I didn't think you were gonna have a hard time with it.
I know, you kept telling me, you're going to be fine, you're going to be fine. And I was like, no,
You
I want to
got
talk about
this.
toys. And you're like, you've got this. And then, again, like I always have a hard time with, I had a hard time narrowing it down to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then one of the things you guys should know before we do the show, none of this is scripted. And so we all three of us, so it's me and Vincent, we're husband and wife, and then Stuart, who's our producer, he's our friend, and he comes over every Friday. We were all in our separate areas in the house choosing our games. So we don't know what each other's games are. Stuart can see them all now because he's got access to like all the videos and stuff that we're going to put up. So if we have overlap, it's not intentional.
But I
We actually don't have overlap this time.
Because I made sure there wasn't. There would have been some overlap with Vincent.
Yeah.
Oh, with you and Vincent.
Yeah.
Okay, but not with me.
Maybe.
That's interesting. Okay, so I'm as interested to hear what theirs is as you guys are, because I don't know what theirs is. So, are we gonna start with you, Vincent?
Yes.
Or?
It'll start with me. Well, with me, my top 10, I'm gonna go from 10 on down to my most favorite one.
Okay.
So 10 is got to be Qbert. I really used to like Qbert and play that a lot.
Really?
When I was in the arcade, yeah. I had a love-hate relationship with Qbert.
I mean, I remember watching people play Qbert, and there was something very cathartic. There's something very cathartic about some of this old 80s, like, arcade music and the soundtracks that...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Qbert.
Of course, I did take off all the sound in there because it would drown us out when we were talking about them, but...
Cubert's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Control system's a little bit difficult to get used to because it's not up, down, left, right.
Yeah, but once you're used to it, it's a little bit different.
I would always fall off the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. When I first started playing that, I did fall off quite a bit. But I just like that little orange guy. It's really cool.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
So
what's your number?
Me or Stuart?
You.
Oh. So my number 10, actually you would think is my all-time favorite, but it's actually on number 10 on my list because I never could really play it. I really stunk at it. So my number 10 is Dragon's Lair.
Mm-hmm.
I totally love Dirk and I love Dragon's Lair, but it was hard. It was so hard. Like, I watch some of the playthrough now just to watch it because it's like watching a little movie. I could not get any of it down. Like, from the very beginning, I couldn't even get the, like, roll and get... No, none of it. I never could.
Yeah.
So...
Didn't mind Dragon's Lair. It was okay, but it was expensive, and you could die really quickly, and you'd be 50 cents gone, and holy crap.
Yeah.
But wasn't that game on? I think you were telling us it was on a laser disc.
It was a laser disc. It was one of the first of many laser disc games that came out, and it was deemed the future. Not so much, but.
Because how long did laser discs? How long do those last? They don't last as long as.
They're still kicking. I have laser discs at home. My laser discs are still kicking.
You just have nothing to play it on.
No, I have a laser.
You do.
I
do. You probably
Stuart
can't.
does.
Like, it's not easy to find one to buy one.
No, and they do suffer from laser disc rot. So they do. The discs will eventually go bad. So they're not as durable as like DVDs or Blu-rays. But again, they'll probably start dying. Who knows when?
Who knows?
And that technology came in right after CDs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all turn off the video on or the sound on my video, or was it on people could hear?
No.
It? No, you can't hear the sound on them?
No, we turned the sound off on everybody's.
Yeah.
Oh, why did we turn the sound off?
Because it's going to drown us out, and we can talk about them.
All right.
Well, that's part of the fun is the sound.
Sorry.
I picked my clips because of some of the sound effects in them.
All right, my top 10, and my 10th one goes simply because I actually worked on this game for the Super Nintendo. I did most of the background level design.
Really?
Yeah, it was designed it was made in Australia by a company called Beam Software, and I kind of interned there, so I did a lot of the here's the first level. You just need to copy and paste and make the background. So that's what I did.
Oh,
so
cool.
So it's Smash TV.
Mm-hmm.
Big money.
That. Yeah.
I love it. So that came out a little bit after RoboCop, and that came out. So it has a lot of the RoboCop humor in it.
Nice.
And I like the fact that it's the 2 joysticks, so it's very much like Robotron and stuff. One to move and one to shoot. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
I like it
I never played that one.
My number 9. I used to like to play a lot. It was really difficult for me to master. Was Joust.
Oh, I hate Joust. Yes, that
But
game
it
is terrible.
Joust is alright. It's just balloon fight.
Yeah.
Or pre-balloon fight.
You have to like keep pumping your wings
I hated it.
and fly around.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Oh, you'll like it when The Rock eventually does a Joust movie.
Oh, I didn't even look to see if that was on your list.
Joust?
No, the other Rock movie.
Jumanji?
No. Rampage.
No, I didn't pick Rampage. Arcade. You said arcade.
Yeah.
I never played Rampage in the arcade.
Oh,
I played
did.
Rampage on the Nintendo. So.
Number 9, Miss Colleen.
So my number 9 is 1942. I always loved the planes, and then you could pick up all the guns, and then at one point, like, you would have so much guns, like, the whole screen was just all of your bullets. And then you could do that little flippy upside down thing.
Yeah,
I think I got that in
so unrealistic for what happened in 1942 with guns.
Yeah, I know, but I just like.
But yeah, I really like the game.
Yeah.
Right.
I liked the flippy planes, and I liked all the weapons that you could have, and you could just like plow through everything with like a bazillion bullets and stuff like that. So that's one of my favorites.
Yes. Mine number 9. And I like number 9 simply, it's more for the cabinet. It's a big honkin' stupid cabinet. It's a game called Roundup 5 Delta Super Force. It's a driving game. And it has 3 screens, one facing forward and 2 on the side. And you drive this super pursuit car, and then you have to get to the bosses at each level. And when you get to the bosses, they have like motorcycle guards that all slide at you and throw stuff at you. And then
I've never played that one.
it's got the usual 3 turbos to get. And if you defeat the boss, you keep on going. And the last boss is a big truck. So
Nice.
So that's kind of cool. And again, I think I might like it more, not for the gameplay, but just because it's a stupid big honking cabinet. Because that's how I am.
Right?
Mr. Vincent?
My next one was really good game that I used to play a lot was Dig Dug. Dig Dug, Dig Dug, Dig Dug. I like kind of like digging through and then like shooting these like dragons.
I like that you shoot them until they blow up.
I like to shoot them when they're like eyes, just eyes, and then they blow up into themselves, and then they blow up.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I was like, this game is kind of demented. We're like blowing up these little creatures.
And then you go
like,
through, and then
pop 'em.
you like drop the rock on them.
Yeah.
That was fun when you walk under the rock. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dig Dug's a good game.
Dig Dug's cute. It's a good game.
I think a lot of these games we have on arcade
We do.
machine.
We have them. And Stuart and I were playing Dig Dug.
Like
not
all
too
of them
long ago.
except like Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, we don't have Dragon's Lair. We don't have the next 2 of mine. So my number 8 is a game called Time Crisis. And I actually like all of the iterations of Time Crisis. One of the things I liked and I would always get frustrated with is there was a pedal on the ground. So you had your gun and you had to like bring your gun down and back up to like reload, but you also had to hit the pedal so that you would duck or whatever. So you'd have to hit the pedal and then do the gun and then shoot and then hit the pedal and then do the gun and then shoot. So
You know what?
What?
You didn't have to do the gun. It was the pedal that actually reloaded you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had to do the gun.
No, it wasn't like crime. What's it called? Stupid video one. I can't remember.
I don't know. I always thought you
had to shoot off the screen or anything like that. No, it was the pedal that actually got you to reload.
Oh, I thought the pedal just made you duck.
Oh, yeah.
So I was doing all of this the whole time in the arcade without having to.
You didn't have to do that.
I was getting my calisthenics in. It was before they had the Wii.
So on Facebook we have Gilda watching us, my aunt Gilda, and Lucky's watching us as well as Aaron.
Hi everybody. Tell us what your favorites are.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you.
We actually have some from Black and Silver Diamond Tekken 5 with number 10 with him. His number 9 is Ninja Baseball Batman.
It's a beat 'em up, side scrolling beat 'em up, 4-player.
Nice. I would probably like that. Those are my favorite kind.
And his number 8 is Carnival.
Shooting game.
Yeah.
Carnival.
I remember that one.
All right, my number 8.
Your number 8, Stuart.
My number 8, very similar to one of yours, Dragon's Lair 2. I like Dragon's Lair.
I never played that game.
Never played it.
Never played. When did that come out?
A couple of years after Dragon's Lair.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was much better, and I used to like it because I could get all the way through it on 1 credit.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Nice.
The thing I liked about it is it flipped the scenes occasionally, so it would play everything reversed. So, but I liked it because again I could get all the way through it. So I'd usually at the arcade have like 40 people watching me and doing my thing.
Wow. I would have been there watching you.
Yeah, I spent far too much money on that game trying to figure it all out. It was one of those things that I wanted to beat it, and I could never play the first one. The first one I was always awful at, so...
The first one was so tough. Like, I guess I should have tried the second one.
Yeah,
but
first
I never
one,
did.
that and Space Ace. I was never good at Space Aces either. So
Steve says Doom is on my all-time favorite, and Black and Silver Diamond says he played Dragon's Lair and it's amazing. So
Awesome.
what are we on? Number seven,
7.
right? Number
Number
seven is going to be Kari Warriors. That I was really, when it came out, that was like my most favorite game at the time. But you're going in with these guys and they're like shirtless. I think it was like during the Rambo.
it was the Rambo era.
Rambo era.
That was a very interesting play mechanic because it has the rotary joystick.
Yes.
And you're always, oh, I need to rotate a bit further.
Yeah. And I have that on our arcade, but we don't have the rotating thing because so you have to like go to the right place because you can't shoot that way.
Shoot that way, that
Yeah.
direction. Okay.
You can only shoot straight.
I haven't played that one with you yet. You'll have to show me.
So that one is a really cool thing about that is two people could use the same tank.
They could.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
If they go in it at the same time, they're able to split it into 2 different tanks.
Oh, it was a glitch or something?
I
maybe?
guess.
Funny. So my number 7 is another shoot 'em up game. I always liked the big cabinet games that, you know, it had the plastic gun and you had to shoot stuff. So, and I spent a lot of money on this game. It was House of the Dead. I love the zombies, and they're
Yeah.
like right there in your face.
We
and
would play that a lot together.
we
That one
played
and
that
Time Crisis.
a lot
Yeah.
together. And I liked it too because it had the different things, and you had to look at the different levels because sometimes there was like the maggots or the slugs or whatever, and then there was the frogs, and there was the zombies, and there was zombies up there. And so I liked it that there was like different levels, and they had the big fat zombies and everything. So
The
I
first
really
time I
liked
ever
House of the
played that, I played that in Dave & Buster's.
I don't remember if the first time it was either like it was like a Dave and Buster's or like a Chuck E. Cheese or something like that was where I first played it. But then we played it a lot in Dave and Buster's when it was like a date thing that we used to go do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love House of
It
the Dead.
had a high horror rating in Australia, and it had a curtain up around it to play it.
Nice.
You couldn't actually see the screen. You had to go underneath the curtain to play it.
Huh.
Nice. Interesting. I think for us they always had it like at first it used to be like in a back section, right?
Yeah.
And then as it became more acceptable to have these gory games, it was like front and center. It was like, check out the gore, you know? As it got to be like House of the Dead 4 and 5 and stuff like that. So, yeah.
All right, number 7 for me is Crime Fighters. Crime Fighters is a 4-player game. It's a side-scroller beat-em-up. They wouldn't make this kind of game anymore because it's so politically incorrect.
Oh, okay.
It has, you know, racism, sexism.
It's one of those
games. I particularly liked it because it was one of those games that had a good mechanic that when you knocked the person down, you could kick them. Or if you had a gun, you could execute them. But it was a typical 90s game, so it had bad guys that looked like Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger and
right.
the Matrix guys. And but yeah, it has a lot of stuff in it that now you go, ooh, super cringy.
I don't think I want to play that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that anymore. And I actually own one of the cabinets, so it was a conversion kit. It was in a Joust cabinet, so I only bought it because it was a Joust cabinet. I'm going to convert it back one day.
So, Black and Silver Diamond has a number 7, and his number 7 is Sailor Moon Pretty Soldier. We actually have that on the arcade machine.
I liked
We
that
played
one,
that
actually.
one.
We
It's
have
good,
that
yeah.
It's good. I liked it.
It's good.
Call,
It's
Black
good.
and Silver
Good.
Diamond. That's a good one. I like that one.
So, my number 10...
6.
No, number 6.
It's okay.
Why did I say 10?
I don't know. Don't make me start
It's been a
over.
long week. My number 6 is Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
The very first Mortal Kombat is because when I was first exposed to
And
the
who was your
first
character?
Mortal Kombat.
Who did you always play?
For Mortal Kombat, Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah. I used to play Sub-Zero all the time because I loved that character.
I used to play Sonya because she used to cheat.
Because she cheated.
Yeah, because she did have an instant when you knocked them down, you could do a leg flip on them, get a 2-hit.
Nice. I hate those kind of games because Vincent just murders me at them. Like, I don't even have a chance.
Yeah.
So, you will notice on my list that there are none of that kind of stuff. And there's no Street Fighter. There's none of that mess on it.
And she handicaps me when we play.
Uh-huh.
And Mortal Kombat, the first one was pre-internet days, so nobody knew the moves. There was no... It was all word of mouth. Oh my god, how did you do...
How did you do...
How did you do that? How did you do the fatality?
Yeah, the fatalities. I always liked to watch you play, but never want to play those kind of games with you.
Yeah.
I definitely need cooperative. You'll see in my list, like, everything I need has got to be cooperative. Like, I need somebody to play with me and help me out.
Yeah.
So my number 6, which I'm sure people would probably think that this one is also my number 1, but I liked it more for, like, who the characters are, not necessarily for the gameplay. The gameplay was good. It's good, but it's not my favorite. So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I do love it, and I play it.
The original or the second one?
The original one. I do love it, and I play it, but there are games that I love more.
Yeah.
So it's definitely on my list, and I play it, and it's fun, and they would say, like, Cowabunga and stuff like that. And it's, like, real cheesy, right? It was cute.
And it was cool because it was one of the first games that I saw as a 4-player game. That I saw.
Yeah, it wasn't. But it was...
It wasn't, but it was the first one I played.
It was very, very popular. I remember a time period that you go to an arcade or something and there'd be like 4 or 5 of them. And there'd be four people playing on every one.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite character, Colleen, to play on?
Donatello.
Of course.
Of course.
Vincent?
Obviously.
Mine would be Raph.
Raphael, of course.
Yeah, I can get through it with Raph. Raph's the only one I can get through it with. The other ones, not so much.
Yeah.
Because he has that rolling attack.
I just like Donatello, so I always have to play Donatello. So what's your number 6, Stuart?
My number 6 is, when I remember it... Oh, my number 6 is Kung Fu.
Kung Fu?
Which is it's a fighting... It's kind of it's a one-player fighting game, and you get to fight against different kinds of fighters each round. And if you beat the first one, you get to play the second one. So the first guy is this... basically this big fat guy that you fight against. And the second is a girl that throws ninja stars. And the third is a guy with a chain. And then a guy with a sword. And a guy with...
So it's kind of Street Fighter-esque?
Kind of Street Fighter. It has 2 buttons. It has a punch and a kick. And you use the joystick to jump and stuff like that.
Cool.
So I just really like it. I can kind of beat it. So...
You're like, I can beat it.
It's one of those ones that I also own. I own it on a multi-board. An official multi-board, not like Vincent's one.
Not a cheater one.
Not a cheater one, and they're kind of really hard to find, so...
Yeah.
It has a lot of the Konami games on it, so...
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of one of those things is like, oh, it's mine.
So we also have a number 6 for Black and Silver Diamond, Windjammers. Windjammers.
Neo Geo game that you
I've
throw
heard
a
of it.
frisbee.
Yeah.
But
It's very, very good. It's very super competitive. A lot of people like that game.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but that's not one that I've ever played.
Yeah. So my number 5 is Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2. I wasn't really introduced to Street Fighter till the second one.
And who's your character for that?
Chun-Li. Chun-Li or Blanca.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my favorite 2 on there.
I love Chun-Li, but I also like Daalism because he like stretches out his arms.
Well, there's some cool things that you can do with Dalsim.
He's actually the best fighter in the second one.
In the second one.
I used to play as Zangief, and he's like awful because he's like a huge target.
Yeah.
But yeah, the amount of money I've dumped into Street Fighter 2, I could have bought many cars.
The only one who I could do their move like every once in a while was what's his name?
M. Bison.
No, the sumo wrestler.
Oh,
E-Honda.
E-Honda.
E-Honda, where you can do his
E-Honda,
arms.
yeah. Well, it's like the same thing as Chun-Li, but just his was punching and hers was kicking.
I know, but for some reason I could never get her flying kick to go. I don't know. I always struggled trying to get it down.
Oh, yeah.
But for some reason, for his, I was just able to get that chopping thing going, and I could get him going and then moving with his little choppy arms.
Yeah. Aiden says, yay.
Yay.
Whoever Aiden is.
I don't know.
Thanks for watching.
So my number 5 is super obscure, and if people never watched this cartoon, they may not even know that this was an arcade game. And it's in that genre of, like, you know, multiplayer, side scroller, and it was what led me to like Sunset Riders, but it's the Cowboys of Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
So they're cowboys, but they're cows. And there was a cartoon, so when you go to the arcade, it plays like a little bit of the like cartoon as the intro, and then you get to be these cowboys that are cows, and it's a little shoot 'em up, Old West, you know. You fight in the town and the saloon and the, you know, railroad and stuff like that. So it's got all of those tropes and stuff in it. But I think it's really fun.
In different places, some of these games are called different things, though, right?
Yeah, we have the Cowboys of Mesa, but it's called. I don't even remember. Stuart and I found it though when we played it.
Yeah, it's called something else.
It's called something else. It's not called the Cowboys of Mesa, but I know it as the Cowboys of the official arcade version here in the United States was called that because that's what the cartoon was called. But I love that, and later on, like I said, that led me to really like Sunset Rider. I never played Sunset Riders in the arcade. I don't even know if they had it on the arcade. Probably did. I never played it in the arcade, but I played it on the Super NES like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's very similar.
mm-hmm. Bury me with my money.
All right, my number 5 is a shoot 'em up. It's called Time Pilot. It's not a bad little game. It's a little bit different, whereas your character sits in the middle of the screen and the screen moves around you, so you're a fixed point, but you can shoot in all directions. And of course, it's called Time Pilot, so you fight through different eras of time.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So I always like that because I can get quite far on that.
I like it.
I haven't played that one either. I have to see if we've got it.
It's been a
Yeah,
while
we
since
do
I
have
played
it
that one.
Oh, okay.
So the number 5 for Black and Silver Diamond is NBA Jam, and NBA on NBC. I honestly can't pick.
Oh, so between
So
the two, you can't pick.
between
Some
of those,
NBA
one of those two, one of the NBA games.
NBA Jam.
Which reminds me is another honorable mention of mine. What was it called? Arch Rivals.
Arch Rivals, yeah, that was pre NBA Jam.
Yeah, I used to like playing that game. That was a really good game. But for my number 4 is Spy Hunter.
Dun, 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 dun,
dun. So I was really big into spies at the time. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was like, it was cool because you could use like oil slick or smoke screen, and you could shoot out your front.
Mm-hmm.
I think at a point you even become a
boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the boat. I don't know why that one sticks in my mind the most.
It's because of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the soundtrack is they originally wanted the James Bond soundtrack, but they couldn't get it. So they went with the Peter Gunn.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, far more memorable.
Yeah, on that game, that makes the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, sometimes it's the sounds, right?
Yeah.
And it just, like, brings you back and you're there. It was interesting when I was looking up the videos for these and I was like, oh, yeah, oh. Like, just the sound, I would be like, oh, I need to go play that now. So my number 4 is Gauntlet. And Vincent drives me nuts. And to this day, 20 years we've been married, and he still drives me nuts because one of the things in Gauntlet is when you're like running low on health or whatever, it says warrior needs food badly. So whenever Vincent's like really hangry, He'll go around the house saying that. Warrior needs food badly. So you would think I would hate that game, but I actually totally love that game. And I've loved like several iterations of it and games that are similar to it. But I really like the old arcade one. And it was but I felt like the arcade one was super tough, like because you had the time limit.
It was designed to munch quarters.
To each quarters, yeah.
It was one. I think it was one of the first ones that had the continue feature, but it was purposely designed for you to keep throwing money into it.
Yeah, it was tough, but it was like, I don't know, there was something about like getting to that next thing, or you'd be like right there, right? Because the time like wasn't quite enough, and you're like right there. So yeah, I loved. So that's my number 4. What's your number 4, Stuart?
Yeah, and I also own a cabinet. It's got my Crime Fighters in it.
Nice.
Number 4 is a love-hate relationship. I hate dragging this cabinet around. Thank goodness I've sold the last one that I own. Dance Dance Revolution. And the best one was Dance Dance Revolution Extreme 8th Mix. And at one stage I had 3 of these things. God, I used to hate dragging these things around. I really hated it.
They are a huge machine.
They are a huge machine. They're heavy. And back in the day, I could dance. And now I'm a big fat slob and I can't do it anymore.
Dance Revolution.
I try and I do about half a song and my knees go out and I'm out of breath. And it's like, what the hell happened to me? And I was like a late person to the Dance Dance Revolution thing. I never got into it in Australia in the 90s. But when I moved over here and I started working with anime conventions and stuff and somehow managed to get hold of a few of them, I was like, well, let's talk to Mr. Hamlin. He has Dance Dance Revolution. We'll invite him to the convention. But yeah,
you're like, it's got me into many a convention.
And it has got me into it, but now, no, I don't own any of the machines anymore. They're just too big, and I love them, but they weigh a ton, and I get so sick and tired of dragging them around.
So, number 4 for Black and Silver Diamond is Tetris. And
oh, yay, Tetris!
Tetris is a really good one,
Tetris on my list. Tetris is on my
Austin Rogers says Darkstalkers better be on the list. I don't know that it is. It might not be.
Might not be.
It's definitely an honorable mention if it's not.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
All right, so your number 3. We're getting closer.
So my number 3. My number 3 is kind of... Well, my number 3 is Star Wars.
Which one?
Star Wars. The original Star Wars.
The original Star Wars.
The Vector
one.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That one was really cool because it's like you're looking at it through a TIE fighter, or not a TIE fighter, a X-wing.
Yeah. Not so cool now, but back in the day.
Back in the day,
vector graphics were very, very cool. Now it's just lines and people going.
Well, another one, it's probably an honorable mention again, is like Tempest. I used to like playing Tempest too.
You have to stick to your 10. You always make me stick to my 10 when we do.
It's honorable mention.
No, there's no honorable mentioning. So you like the Vector thing, huh?
I like that Vector one a lot.
What about Asteroids?
That one got kind of old.
Battlezone?
I never played Battlezone. What is that one?
It's when you're in a tank and you're looking through like little goggle things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
You like a lot of them. You're only supposed to pick your
that's not in my top.
So my number 3 is like old school. Like I was young when this one came out, and so maybe that's one of the reasons why I love it. Is Galaga. Love Galaga. And then, man, you would try to shoot the little green thing so that it was blue, so that you only had to shoot it one more time. But then you would try to let it fly down and capture you, so that then you could shoot it again, so that you would have the double ship.
Yeah.
Because then if you went to the bonus stage and you had the double ship, then you could get everything and you could get all the bonus points. I liked Galaga, but it would get so fast, like the little things were just coming in, that I would finally just.
So what level can you get up to?
Like 20.
That's pretty good.
And then I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
crud. I can't.
it's super fast.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do anything. So, yeah.
But I really like the design of the spaceship that you use, because that was the coolest looking spaceship. I mean, even though for the graphics at the time,
I
it was
always
really
thought it was
really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I guess I liked it too because it has a pattern, right? So, and every time the bugs fly in and the little things fly in and they have a pattern. So once you learn the pattern, if you can get fast enough, you can get within the pattern and you can shoot, and you can shoot over here, shoot. And then it was easier to kind of pass some of the levels if you could learn the pattern. Yeah. So video gaming used to be kind of like that. I think it was like pattern remembrance.
A lot of
stuff
it
like
was,
that.
yeah. And the good thing it was endless, kind of.
Yeah.
Until it ran out of virtual memory and then crashed.
So what's your number 3, Stuart?
My number 3, and the only black and white game in the list.
Pong.
No, it is a game called Sprint. It's a driving game. It's a top-down perspective. But what you do when you're driving, you get to, when you're doing the corners, you spin the wheel wildly to like drive around, and it has that tire screeching game. And they made Sprint 1, Sprint 2, Sprint 4, and actually the numbers were the amount of players that you could play. They actually made up to a Sprint 8, and they've made modern versions of it too. But I liked the old school cabinet and the old school game. I would kill to get another cabinet. It's like on one of my top lists of, if I ever own cabinets that I really want, that would be one I would keep and not sell.
I'm gonna have to look that up and see what that. I don't think I've ever seen that one.
It's just a really old school. And if you've ever played it, you would know, because you're sitting there when you're taking the corners, spin the wheel and then grab it to stop, and then spin the wheel the other way and grab it to stop, and you'd have a shifter as well on an accelerator.
Cool.
I'd never played that one. So the number 3 for Black and Silver Diamond is Pac-Man.
That's a classic. I was wondering if anybody was going to have Pac-Man on their list.
Yeah.
It's good.
So
it's a classic.
It's a good classic game, but it's not in my top 10.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
All right, number 2, Vincent. We're getting down. We're getting closer.
So my number 2, is what I like the most, is Superman. Superman, the arcade game.
Is that the one that we played here?
Yeah. So you can play it as a 2-player, but you can play it as 1 player. You're going through and you play as Superman, either the blue or the red one, and you're just like punching or kicking thing. And at some point you can like shoot your heat ray vision. So it's one of the coolest things, and
It's kind of cheesy.
to be able to go all the way. The first time I was able to get all the way through it is when we had this arcade.
With the arcade, yeah.
Because it eats up your quarters too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the nice thing about having your own arcade, and you can turn it off so that you can play it. Unlimited continues. So my number 2 is another old school, old school. And this one, like, I listened to the video several times because there's something about the music to this, the soundtrack, that just, like, lulls me into this gaming sense of nirvana. It's Centipede. And I can hear the ball rolling. Like, when I hear the music played, I can hear that where you're rolling the ball, and all you have is the little tiny shoot button.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, my fingers, it's too small. I don't know. I always love that game.
You want to know some Centipede trivia, because you know I'm from the arcade world, so I know some.
I want to know.
That game was very girl-centric because it was programmed by a girl.
Really?
Yeah, one of the first female programmers.
Really?
Donna Bailey.
Nice.
Huh.
So there you go. You didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
That's probably why you like it so much.
That's why I like it so much. It's for girls.
No, not really. But no, she was one that
was really into mushrooms.
that could have been it, because it was done by Atari back in the day, so...
And it had spiders and scorpions,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I always liked it. I just like that flow of the roller ball, and then, like, and then it would get
Because that was the
faster.
first time I was ever exposed to a trackball. Other than after that, the second time I think it was some golf game with the trackball.
I had lots of trackballs because I came from Trackball City.
Yeah.
Well, like Atari, football, and basketball, and baseball had trackballs. I think massive big trackballs.
I never
Played that
really
many of
played
them
the
like that.
sports games except for like basketball. I played a lot of basketball.
I didn't play any, which is interesting. I never played any of the sports games, except for that little handheld that they used to have, but that's not an arcade. We can talk about those someday.
All right, my number two. My number two is another one of these machines that if I could own one, I would. And I've had the opportunity twice to own one, and I've been stupid and I didn't pick it up. And now they're worth huge amounts of money. And it's one of these stupid, unique machines. It's got 3 monitors in it, so it's super wide. And it's called the Ninja Warriors, where you basically are playing as a cybernetic ninja, and you're going up against army guys and dogs and tanks, and you've got like little knives and shurikens, and as you take damage, your ninja goes more into a cybernetic mode. So the more damage you take, the more of a cyborg you become. But it's got a really cool
I haven't played that one either.
soundtrack. And again, it's unique because it's such a big cabinet.
So since it's 3 monitors, do you play like from this side over and then come back, or how does that work?
The way it's basically it's like basically widescreen, and it's quite unique because what it is actually it's got 1 monitor one way and 2 monitors the other way, and it's got 2 mirrors that mesh the 3 images together.
Oh.
So
That's
it's not
cool.
3 monitors together. It's like 2 monitors down in the thing and 1 up and some mirrors.
Oh, that's really
So,
cool. Huh.
I kind of like
Interesting.
it.
Yeah.
And what about Black and Silver Diamond?
Black and Silver Diamond, his number 2 is... Oh, he takes it back because it was something... He had something else. He got rid of that. And he says, I take it back. Number 2 is Soul Calibur 2.
Soul Calibur?
Soul Calibur. I like that game. That was really good. My number 1 was my most favorite arcade game is Ninja Gaiden, the first one.
I knew it.
It's awesome.
I should have known it.
It's really cool.
Should've known
It has the really cool feature of on the joystick you have a button, and then that's where you could like catch onto things and swing.
And swing and climb and...
Yeah, I liked it way better than anything that they made on the home systems because it was nothing like the arcade at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No.
not at all.
You're like, oh, sad. I'm very disappointed.
You obviously did not play on the Atari Lynx.
No,
No, I never had the Atari Lynx.
no. Was it the same
Yeah, it was
game?
The same.
So my number 1, we're back to a 4-player for me.
Okay.
My absolute favorite game. I will play it a bazillion times as any one of the characters is The Simpsons. Love it. I love to whip people with Lisa's like little jump rope and hit people with Bart's skateboard and whack people with the vacuum with Marge, and Homer's a big dummy. He's my least favorite, but I'll play him. But yeah, I love that game. We have that game too. I'm gonna play it this weekend.
Up and at 'em.
I can give you more interesting arcade trivia. See, I'm full of it today.
Okay, good. I love arcade trivia.
The Simpsons arcade game was put out only after 2 seasons of The Simpsons, so they only had 2 seasons to go off to design it. So that's why Smithers is this big evil dude, and he's not really.
Right.
And there's several references in there that were only ever referenced like once or twice in the whole Simpsons, but they became like big things in the arcade because again they only had seasons to go.
Nice, excellent.
So for what they had, I think they put together a pretty good game.
They put together a good game. I like that game. I have a lot of fun playing that game. Stuart plays that game with me sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, Stuart, what's your number one?
And my number one, if I could just play this game and it was the only game left on Earth, I would be so happy.
You would just play it.
I would be so happy. It's Bubble Bobble. Because I like the music and it's cute. It's two little dinosaurs and they blow bubbles and they bubble up the monsters and pop them and get the fruit.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
You're playing on our...
We
You
played
have that one
Yeah,
on
I
our
have that
arcade,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I can play over and over and over and over again because it's got 100 levels. And technically the only way you can get through it is play with 2 players. Because there's a good ending and a bad ending.
No.
And if you don't have 2 players, you don't get the good ending.
Nice.
But it's just, it's nice, it's simple, it's cute. And what tends to happen is after a while, because there's just points everywhere in the stage, you get to the point where you try and steal each other's points and it just becomes a free-for-all at the end.
Nice.
But it's kind of cute.
That sounds fun. We'll play that.
So let me make some mentions because Folger gave us his top 10 all in one.
All
so,
in one?
All in one. So it's top 10 is 1949, 9 is Area 51, 8 is Donkey Kong, 7 is Golden Axe, 6 is Rolling Thunder, 5 is The Simpsons,
Yes.
4 is Tekken Tag, 3 is King of Fighters, 98, 2 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time,
I like that one.
and his number 1 is Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, I kind of like that one.
And Black and Silver Diamond, his number 1 is Marvel vs. Capcom. That's
Really?
a good one too.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I like to watch it, but I'm not good. Again, I'm not good at those fighter type games, so I would never pick them like on my top 10 list.
Yeah. Runs off Naomi hardware. It's basically a arcade version of the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I own one.
You own one?
I own one.
And then Volker says, OMG, I love Bubble Bubble.
The only Marvel game I ever liked was on, I think it was on PlayStation 2 or 3. It was Marvel Alliance, which was, again, like a 4-player. We could all play together, and then we could pick different Marvel characters and go through. I liked that game a lot. I think it was a PlayStation game. We used to play with the boys all the time. But then you would have to make us stop because I yell a lot. I tend to yell a lot.
And now we're going to get off and we're all going to play arcade games.
I want to play Champions of Norath. I love that game.
I haven't played that in ages.
I know, but that's another one on a home system. It's not an arcade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm totally playing the cabinet all weekend.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. So cool. That's our top 10 arcade games, our picks. Let us know what yours are in the comments, and we'll tell you what number there are on our list. Because there's a lot of them on our list.
I mean,
Not on the top 10 that we like to play.
There's
not top 10.
a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I could list 20 or 30. I could say, oh, I want. And the problem is, I own a lot.
Yes.
So, and there's some that was like, ooh, it's like, oh, Outrun. I like Outrun, but I like Turbo Outrun better. But I like it better in the sit-down cabinet. Because sometimes I like stuff just because of the way the cabinet's designed.
Cabinet is designed.
And most of it is very impractical and stupid and big and heavy. It makes no sense because when you have to move these things around, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like the aesthetics of them because of the way the cabinet's designed.
Oh man, yeah. I used to love. It was the Jurassic Park one, right? That you sat inside of, and then the dinosaurs are like coming at you or whatever. I used to love all those that you would sit inside of.
Yeah.
And then is it the tank one? No, it's like an underwater one, right? Where you're in the submarine or whatever, and you have to look up to the.
In the hunt.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah. No, I love the arcade. I could totally turn the house into an arcade. I mean, it's nice that we have this one.
Yeah.
It's nice that we have this one because it has so many games on it.
Mm-hmm. The only drawback is that I can't play Spy Hunter on there.
Yeah.
You probably could.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to map all the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be weird.
Spy Hunter with a joystick is very hard to do.
I'd be down if we could get like a shoot 'em up, like House of the Dead or Time Crisis or something like that. I'd be down if we could get another arcade that was something like that.
So we need a driving one, and then
yeah,
we need.
I was surprised you didn't have any driving ones because you went through this big phase of like Gran Turismo and stuff like that. I was surprised that you didn't. We would go to the arcade and you would. There was one of the sit down ones that you would play.
Mm-hmm.
And we always liked the ones where you would get on the motorcycles too.
Yeah. Those are fun.
Those are fun. The arcade is the best. Once we're all like not COVID, maybe we can all go to Dave and Buster's or something.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Do like a Geek Out SA outing.
Or go.
That would be cool.
Stuart's friend has an arcade, so we could go to his arcade and do.
Oh yeah.
He moved locations, right?
No, he's still in the. We've got 2 now. One in Austin and one in San Marcos.
Oh, okay. We've been to the one in San Marcos.
Austin one's kind of nice.
Austin's nice. Yeah.
We're gonna check that one out.
We're gonna go check that one out and do some video over there.
That would be a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
So cool. Thanks for checking us out. If you haven't subscribed, click on that subscribe button and click that notification icon so you know the next time we come out for live. But we'll have some more coming. We'll have another level up coming up pretty soon.
Oh, cool.
That I forgot to post.
Good
But
job,
I'll post it. But thanks for checking us out. Really appreciate it. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and thanks to Stuart.
Geek Out SA.
Bye.